Hello, friends, and a happy Friday, one and all. I hope you're all having a fantastic start to your weekend. Let me just do a little bit of business keeping here on the screen. There we go. Looks like we got plenty of folks assembled already. Good to see that. And boy, I'm grateful for this Friday. It's been a long, long day today. More about that, but we have Haunted Bookshop in the Magic Memorial Friday 7 Ellie, as is the tradition here on the Friday Night live stream. And yeah, let's see who we got assembled here so far. It's a good group already. We got our early birds. We're in here. David G, David Bookshop, Gordy. It's great to see you guys chatting early. Always makes me know I won't be alone when it finally gets to 8 o'clock. There's Poem. Good to see you tonight, Poem. Jeffrey Feinberg, Chris Weber, Piper on the 45, Pondering with Pet-Based Pipes, Patrick Grant. Great to see you guys. John Brett, very busy remodeling. John Brett. John, I hope that's going well for you. Always, always a mixed blessing when you're doing the remodeling, isn't it? James Steidel, Kevin Beringer, Algonquin Breyer. Good to see you guys. And let's see. Oh, the list goes on. There's the Smooth Piper. Good evening, Peter. Good to see you tonight. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island. Mushroom Leg. It's no, it is not spooky season until October. October 1st. Cut it out, Ray. Cut it out. Flint Hill Briar. Good to see you. Flint Hill, Stephen Skip. Doug Goen. Good evening. Doug George Tiedemann. Gary Edminster. Might be repeating myself a little bit here because there's a lot of it's coming in fast. Ochoita, good to see you tonight. Martina Lamb, my goodness, Cypress Piper, Douglas Marler, hello Douglas. I think we are caught up. If I missed you, I apologize, um, but I certainly hope I didn't. So yeah, oh, long day today. I woke up this morning with a mild headache, and by the time it got to lunchtime, it was one of the worst headaches I've ever had in my life. I have no idea what was going on. I don't know why I mean, I guess you never really know why you got a headache, but I didn't do anything stupid. I didn't, I drank plenty of water. I was fully hydrated. I had the usual amount of caffeine, but man, it was bad. So I ended up coming home at lunchtime because I just couldn't take it anymore. Took some aspirin, slept for about an hour and a half, and then I was okay. Bad Dad, good to see you. Lord Hogarth, Little Piper Todd, and Phil Rivera. Good to see you, Phil. Yeah, so I don't know. It was still bothering me a little bit. I took some more aspirins around 5 o'clock, and yeah, I seem to be pretty okay now. But boy, it was weird. I've never had one. I don't know. I've never had a migraine, but if there's anything worse than what I had this afternoon, I don't ever want to have a migraine. That's for sure. Ah, so yeah, and I'm just tired. I did stay up later than usual last night. I guess that might have been part of it. Uh, there was a little football game playing last night. I don't know if anybody saw that. Big Dave, hello. Good to see you. Mushroom Legs got a GBD poker with St. Bruno. Nice. Bob Kraus, hello, Bob. Is Mushroom Leg number one? Yeah, I don't see. I turned off the crown, so I don't see them. I thought I was turning them off so they wouldn't be granted, but apparently you have to. Everybody has to turn them off themselves if you don't want to see the crowns. Oh. So yeah, I am kind of tired. I wasn't up too late last night, but the game. I don't know how many folks saw the game last night, but there was like an hour-long delay in the middle of it for lightning. Which, what are you going to do? Go Eagles, indeed, Big Dave. Indeed. Although, to be honest with you, they had to fight a lot harder than I think they should have last night. It was not a perfect game for them. Well, mushroom leg, you can shut it off, but you're still going to have to live up to that. I mean, all eyes are upon you. So you don't think like just because you turn it off the crown, you don't have that weight on your shoulders. Fell asleep before it started, John. Man, I if the game was tonight, I could easily do that, believe me. I'm that tired. Creator of the boundless universe, he's having a burly flake #1 in a cob sitting in the great outdoors. Good for you. So someone asked about, I think it was Patrick Grant asked about a beverage. I do have a beverage tonight. I haven't opened it yet, but we're having another one of these dirty fellers. Yeah, that's what we'll call it when I'm not in a randy mood. I did find this surprisingly. I'm not gonna put my glasses on just to read this, but it was surprisingly potent. I think it's around an 8%, and I am tired, so if I fall asleep, just last one out, turn off the lights. We'll be fine. We went to a bar restaurant last week, my wife and I, and it's a 3-floor situation where the bottom floor is like a typical sports bar kind of thing. Second floor is more like a restaurant kind of feel to it, and then the top is actually rooftop outdoor. So we went up to the rooftop for the first time, and it turned out they did not have draft on the rooftop because they couldn't pump it up. They could get it to the second floor, but they couldn't get it to the third floor. So I told the guys they have to get the old-fashioned pumps, and they asked me if I would do the pumping for them, and at that point I just said, well, okay, I'll take a can. So I got a can of beer and a glass, and I poured it like I just poured this, and I told my wife, I should really give it all up and become a bartender. And she wasn't impressed. She wasn't impressed. Randy means like, you know, feeling. Oh, somebody help me out here. What does Randy mean? Naughty. How's that? Poem, you were hanging out in haunted Pennsylvania cemeteries. What part of Pennsylvania? Not in the UK. It doesn't. Do I maybe not want to know what it means in the UK? Frisky? Maybe frisky. Something like that, James. Greetings, Pipe Writer. New Bethel Church, huh? Rhinocerosy. There you go, Flint Hill. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say, rhinocerosy. Poem, you were only about an hour away from me. Hour and a half, maybe. What a bull has on its head. Oh, really? Oh, no, 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 no. That's not at all what I meant. No, no. I meant mischievous and perhaps a bit uncouth. Okay, you know what? I just want to take back what I said earlier. I'll replace it with naughty. How's that? Okay, Chris. Yes. Chris is princess briding me. It's actually one of the funniest lines in that movie. Revenge is sweet. Yes, yes. Phil owes me one. I was mean to Phil today. Oh, Paul, that I'm glad your nephew wanted it. I hope it gets put to good use. But thank you for thinking of me. That's very kind of you. It has been redacted. Thank you, Gordy. Randy was also the ne'er-do-well puppet on Pee-wee's Playhouse, says Flint Hill. I don't know if that makes me feel better, Flint Hill. I don't know if I feel better about it, honestly. I appreciate the attempt there, but PJS Bluegrass Burley. It's September, however, I still need to stay off your lawn. Indeed, indeed. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the reason YouTube finally got rid of me was that I didn't know the true meaning of that word? Phil, those are two names I don't ever want to see in the same comment. We're given a yay or nay vote to ventriloquism mushroom leg. I mean, I'm all for it as a skill. I just don't like the dummies. They're okay when they're sitting on the ventriloquist lap, being cute and making jokes and all that. But when they're off on their own in a corner at night in the dark, that's when I do not like them. Especially if they're dressed in clown gear. Ventriloquists can be quite strange, Poem. I think a ventriloquist might be the opposite of a mime. I haven't quite worked this out, but this is true, Phil. I have never seen your mouth move while leaving a comment. Edgar Bergen, worst ventriloquist ever. Now we're rating ventriloquists. Okay, Big Dave. Kevin, yeah. I didn't think of that angle, but you're right. Phil was a ventriloquist mime. Oh, that's funny. It's National Ventriloquist Day, and we all have to talk like ventriloquists. I'm not going to try it. I've never tried to be a ventriloquist. I would have no idea how to do it. Mark, welcome. Did Peter the Smooth Piper invite you along? It's good to have you. A millennialism codger? A millennialism. That's hard to say. Good evening. Good evening, AC. Good to have you along. A millennialism. Is that like is the A to is it like a negation of the millennial? It's an interesting word. Welcome. I picked that one apart, didn't I? Carrie! Somebody in the pro ventriloquist camp. Good, good. Plenty of horror film book material generated, but yeah, that's what bothers me. Yeah. I'm pro ventriloquist as long as they're at your house, Carrie, okay? Just keep them out of mine. JD Wolf, welcome. Enjoy your dinner, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Can I give you a teaser on the three blends? No. No, you have to wait. We will be doing the tobacco of the month tonight. But thanks for the reminder, David, because I had honestly forgotten. I have them all set up. I got the poll set up and everything, but I had forgotten we're doing that. I would have remembered when I got to the end of this. Jeff Dunham, I think, is funny. I've always enjoyed him. But there is this interesting sort of collection of entertainers that or types of entertainers that I think are all in some way interrelated. So ventriloquists and mimes, they're sort of like opposites. But clowns, magicians, like they're all kind of odd and maybe genetic mutants of some sort. Like maybe people are born mimes. I'm not sure. A great Native American actor passed away yesterday. Sorry to hear that, Bill. He was in Dances. Never saw Dances with Wolves. Graham Greene, was that the name, Big Dave? No, it's very unfortunate. John Brett, Mixture 79 is a fine mixture. R.I.P. Graham Greene. Yes, indeed. And Armani passed away at the age of 91 yesterday. Wow. Graham Greene was in the Green Mile, says Big Dave. And he might have been in Northern Exposure, says James Stidle. I don't know. Northern Exposure was a good show, though. I enjoyed that. That was one of those shows that I used to always catch just as it was going over, and I very, very rarely watch a show when it's actually on for the first time. So it was in syndication. It was like on one of the local channels every night. And I'd always just miss it, or, occasionally I'd catch a full episode, and I really enjoyed it. And I kept saying, oh, I'd love to see this from the beginning. And then one year for Christmas, my wife bought me the whole DVD set. And I've never even taken the plastic off the darn thing. It's so strange how that happens. I do that a lot. I get the DVD and now I'm thinking, okay, I can watch it anytime I want, and I never watch it. I've got the complete Perry Mason. I've got the full Sherlock Holmes Granada series. And honestly, I've hardly ever watched them since I bought them. Edgar was, I believe, the father of Candice Bergen. I think that's true, Lord Hogarth. You have good taste, John Brett. Carter Hall and Mixture 79. Candace thought that, yes, I remember hearing that, Big Dave, that she actually thought Charlie McCarthy was her brother. Yeah. Steve Stazak. How you doing, Steve? Grandmother was offended by the show, James? Oh, that's unfortunate. Ron Hardcrackers, hello. That's one of those ones where it's easy to lose the plot, Phil. You're right, David. In 100 years, they will be worth a fortune. Or people will be looking at them saying, what the heck are these things? You know, I never got into Twin Peaks, Flint Hill. It was very popular uh, when I was in grad school, I believe, in that time frame. And I watched a couple episodes, and I just couldn't get into it. And I like David Lynch. I love his adaptation of Dune. I think that is it's definitely one of my favorite movies. And I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people said it was, long and boring, but I just thought it was a fantastic movie. I'd love to see McHale's Navy, uh, John. Absolutely. Big Dave, I didn't know you were a Gilligan's Island fan. That's fascinating. Me and Big Dave are the Gilligan's Island fan club. Magnum PI is your favorite, huh, Mushroom Mike? That was a good one. Yeah, Doug, I agree with you. The Rathbone Bruce movies are more fun, but they're not canonical. So I love them. I love them, but there probably will come such a time, Paul. Bad Dad only watched Gilligan's Island to see the coconuts. Is that some sort of a double entendre there, Big Dad? Bad Dad, rather. Hogan's Heroes, that's a great show, yes. Now, I've seen every episode of that multiple times. I used to watch that every night when it was on MeTV. It might still be on MeTV, but that was like my night routine, my nighttime routine is, tuning into Hogan's Heroes every night for a couple of years. I watched it, cycled through every episode a couple times. I loved that show. Hey Phil, if you find the beard hair, you actually get a free tin. Hey, Big Dave, you're going to enjoy in just a month's time. You're going to be enjoying the Great Pumpkin. I don't know how exactly we're going to get away with it. Reno, Nevada. Hello. I don't know what those letters mean. KMKMGBF and some. Okay. Good to see you, Reno. Goes with Randy. Okay, bad then. Bob's Burgers and Mash. Wow. That's that. Yeah. They're, I like Bob's Burgers. I think it's quite funny. The humor in that sometimes is it really makes me laugh. It's well written. And MASH, yeah, it's just a classic. Seen that series several times through too. What do you call two doctors in agreement a paradox? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was one of the strange things, wasn't it, Big Dave? That he was considered to be so smart, but he couldn't fix a 3 foot hole in the side of a boat. There was that one episode where he invented a super glue that they were going to use to fix the boat, and then Gilligan sat in it or something. Those are two great ones to compare, Doug, because I think they're both fantastic. I really love the Rathbone Bruce Hound of Baskervilles, but yeah, of course the Granada one is canonical, and but they're both really good. You know, Flint Hill, I still haven't seen the MASH movie. I every time this comes up, I say, "Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that," and I've never seen it. Pipe Tree, hello, buddy. That's a good list, Phil. Cotter. I knew what you meant, Phil. Doing just fine, Tree. Doing fine. How are you doing these days? Hope you're well. Has anyone read the book? Because there was a MASH novel that I think predated the movie. I think the movie was an adaptation of the novel. I remember seeing it, so I remember the year that the movie was out. I can still see the poster with the peace fingers with the hat on it. Um, and I remember seeing that on the cover of books in like the stores that would sell books. We used to have those. Uh, Not bookstores. Those are different. These are like convenience stores at the beach where you'd go and you might buy some popsicles or maybe a beach chair or an umbrella or a book. Um, I don't know what they were called, stores. Anyway, I remember seeing in those stores the MASH book the summer that the MASH movie was playing. The other interesting thing about that time, and I have no idea what year it was, probably in the 70s. The theaters in this was Wildwood, New Jersey. There were 5 theaters, maybe along the boardwalk, four, maybe I don't remember, and they were all owned by Hunt's Entertainment, which owned Hunt's Pier. Um, so the same company owned them all, and they would each show a different movie for the whole summer. So the theater that was showing MASH was the theater that showed MASH, and June, July, and August, that's what you could see in that theater. And then down the boardwalk a little bit, there was another theater showing another movie. And it was just interesting. I guess there was just 4 or 5 movies that came out each summer, and it was enough. Now I don't think we have that anymore. I think they come out every 15 minutes. I can go to video in about 10. Okay, so Rodney Whitfield says the book came out first, and then the movie, then the series. And James Title's got the novel but hasn't yet read it. Book was first. I'm not always correct, John. Alan Alda has a book called Never Have Your Dog Stuffed. Huh. Oh, David G., thank you for hanging out with us and smoking the Motor Bookshop every week. It's much appreciated. Oh yeah, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. That's weird. I remember again. I was every summer was in Wildwood with in the beach. We would spend every day at the beach sometimes, and I remember being afraid because of Jaws. I mean, as strange as that, I was a little kid, but 50 years ago, my goodness, I can't believe it's been 50 years. And Steph and Jaws are the same age. Uh, I remember when I was a young kid like that, Steph. You think Jaws is the perfect movie, Mushroom? Like, it's a fine movie. It's a well-constructed movie. I mean, I would argue that the plot of Jaws is basically Godzilla made small. Those manta rays are a little scary, Phil, so I'm not surprised. Oh, Paragon, I can see that happening. Yeah. I remember you saying something about that, Doug, about the Robert Shaw speech. Yes. Don't you hate that stuff? That stuff happens all the time. I'll say, "Hey, look at that old guy over there," and it's, "Oh, he's like younger than you." Do you use more of the do you use the tank up more quickly when you're scared, David? I guess so. I guess you're breathing faster. It's kind of cool being the same age as old people. That's how I'm going to think of it from now on, Steph. Mushroom Leg almost died at a G War concert. Oh my goodness. Ah, Bad Dad. If I recall what that play was about or was involved, you got to see all of Adrian Barbeau. That must have been nice. The other thing that's always fun is you see an actor that was in something when you were young and maybe was younger than you, and you remember that, but you haven't seen that person since, and you remember them as that younger than you person, and you see them now and they appear to be older than you. One PS got killed by a G-War a couple of times. How about that? Good to see you, One PS. Brewmaster Light, less than $10 for a 12 pack. Well, how bad could it be, Ron? Yeah, most of the people I grew up with are grandparents now, Steph, and that just, I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm older than my grandparents were when I was born, but it just seemed weird. Yeah, that mirror thing's a problem, David. Yeah, there's a good example, Patrick. Surviving members of Russia in their 70s. That's a good point, Paragon. I mean, I was much in much greater danger from my mom and my grandmom and the wooden spoon and such than I was ever in danger from a shark attack. Favorite Rush song? Yes, Big Dave. Well, I know Patrick's probably got seven. I probably only know three. I liked that one. It was later. Um, Probably when I was in college, they put out an album and it had I think it was called Ghost of a Chance. That was a interesting song. Trouble with Trees, says Pipe Tree. Makes perfect sense, Tree. I'm sure that I just don't know the titles, but I'm sure if I heard these songs, I would recognize them. Oh man, Paragon, a 2 foot long metal spoon? Wow. Yeah, Tom Sawyer was the first one that came to mind, Flint Hill, and I just assumed everybody would be saying that. But again, I only know two or three, so ELL, Elvis, Tom Jones, and Dino. There you go. Got to see Elvis live, David G. That must have been something. Oh, one PS. That got dark. My 80-year uncle asked his friend if he could ask his daughter out for dinner. His friend said, "No, I don't want you playing with the kids." She was 65. You got the spoon as a gift, Paragon. Interesting. I actually know that song, Steph, and that is an excellent song. I can't say that I like that type of music very much, but that one can get stuck in your head. I heard an interview with them once that really disturbed me. Uh, what is the Willie Nelson song they covered? Pet Shop Boys covered a Willie Nelson song, but I can't remember which one it was. Ah, glad to hear the beer is pretty good, Ron. It was always on my mind. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And I was listening to this. I was just flipping channels on Sirius XM while I was driving, and they were doing some sort of Pet Shop Boys thing. And the Peter Boys was totally different, Phil. I was just going to ignore it, but since you pointed it out, uh, no, it wasn't all the weed I loved before Paragon. So they were being interviewed, and they were asked about the "Always on My Mind" thing, and they asked them if the Willie Nelson version influenced what they did with it, and they claimed that they didn't know what the person was talking about. Like they seriously didn't know anything about Willie Nelson or the fact that he had sung that song before. And that kind of bugged me. Like, it just kind of, I don't know. You took the guy's song and it made you money. You could at least acknowledge that you know he exists. So that bugged me. I am done with my haunted bookshop and have been for about 5 minutes. So Peter, you definitely won tonight. It is not many people copy some of Willie's other songs. Like you very rarely hear anybody do a rendition of "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I'm Gone." That just doesn't happen very much. Living under a rock, much indeed, Carrie. Vanilla Ice and David Bowie. Is that a was there a similar thing there, Savagely? I'm not familiar. You're right. I did do better than typical, didn't I? But there was about 5 minutes where it wasn't lit, and I was just talking. Yes, the tobacco of the month choice, indeed. So let's talk about that. We'll do a little voting, and then we'll load up another pipe. So I got three. It's a little bit different this month because well, first off, this is probably the last month we're going to do this year. Just because of the way things work out. Usually in October, I might do something for October, but usually October I smoke a lot of Haunted Bookshop because that's my Halloween blend. I know that's silly, but um, it's Haunted Bookshop for goodness sakes. But maybe we'll do something. November I'm going to be doing Thanksgiving Day, and then December I usually have a Christmas blend of some sort or the other. So um, we probably won't do another. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe it's already coming to the end of the year. Hey, Cole, Big Country Briar, good to see you. There will be no pumpkin spice, David G. There will be no pumpkin spice. Uh, hey, Cole, did you enjoy that game? Did Brian enjoy that game? Did you check in with him at all today, Cole? Uh, so the choices this evening for Tobacco of the Month, and we'll do the usual poll, so don't vote until the poll comes up in the. Yeah, the dog is barking, Gary. Sorry. My wife's also yelling at the dog, so maybe you heard some of that too. Um, Dogs are fine, Big Dave. They're fine. My wife's up there. They're just being dogs. Um, so vanilla ice. I don't even know. I remember that was a thing. I don't know what that is, but sampled under pressure from David Bowie. Okay. Poem bought a tin of Rattray's old gallery for his cellar. Funny you say that, Poem, because the first tobacco that we might be choosing tonight is indeed Rattray's old gallery. So that's one possible choice. What's different is that all three of these are open. Two of these, I will do that, Steph. Thank you. Thank you. We were actually talking about you last night. I was telling her about your birthday party and how disappointed we were that we couldn't travel for that. Love to see you guys. So yes, these have all been open. They've all been open at the Columbus show, and I haven't really smoked much of them. In fact, I don't remember if I had any of the next one. I know I had a bowl of this, but I got to put them in jars. So we're gonna smoke one of these. The other two are gonna go in jars. So we got Old Gallery. This is new. This is the German made, relatively new. So that's one. And again, you don't have to vote now, and you'll get a chance to vote. You don't have to remember numbers because it'll pop up in the poll. Number two, this is the one that I can't remember if I smoked or not at the show. It's Cornell and Deal Sunday Picnic. By the way, these are both Virginia. This is Virginia with, I believe, some dark fired and maybe some Perique. This is straight Virginia with the honey topping. Golden Virginia, and it's got some Turkish in it as well. Oh, it's got some Perique. Oh, this is much more complicated than I thought. Golden Virginia is combined with Perique and Izmir Turkish, and then there's a honey topping of a sort. That I've had this in the past. It's quite good, and this is from 2014, so it's definitely aged quite a bit, which is nice. And the third one, and these are really quite different selection here. The third one is one I picked up in Akron at the Pipe Rack. And I'll tell you the story about this. This is 790 Highland, and this is, believe it or not, a full English blend crossover. So it's a topped English blend, very similar to Northwoods, if you're familiar with Boswell's Northwoods. I went into the Pipe Rack at the suggestion of my friend Andre, who every year I see Andre at the Columbus show, and he says, "Did you stop in Akron at the Pipe Rack?" And I say, "No." So this year I made the detour and I stopped at Akron at the Pipe Rack, and the guy was so incredibly nice to me. I mean, he spent like 20 minutes telling me the whole history of the Pipe Rack and the tobaccos and everything. I felt absolutely compelled to buy something, and unfortunately most of their blends were either English or aromatics, and so I bought this. And I've had a bowl of it, and it's not terrible. So those are the three choices we've got here. We've got English crossover from the Pipe Rack, 790. Island. We've got Cornell and Deal Sunday Picnic, a Virginia Izmir Perique, and we've got Old Gallery, which is a Virginia. I think there's, I know there's Dark Fired in this, and I think there's some Perique as well. And those are the choices, so let's go ahead and see if we can get the poll running. Let's see. I'm gonna need my glasses to get the poll running. And we'll run it for a minute or so. Oh, come on. Sometimes I just can't scroll, which is very annoying. That's odd. I cannot get this thing to scroll. And if it doesn't scroll, I can't get to the bottom where the darn button is. All right, we're gonna minimize the chat for a moment. And we will start the poll. Vote away, folks. Old Gallery takes a quick lead. 54% of the vote going for Old Gallery. $55. We seem to have stabilized at 55. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so. So cast your votes if you can. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So it looks like Old Gallery is our winner. Old Gallery with 56. Sunday Picnic came in second with 25, and nobody wanted me to smoke the crossover, which I appreciate. 39 votes in total. Good deal. Good deal. All right, let's get back to the chat. And let's see. I don't think it's HGL, Doug. I've had HGL before. I think they actually do some blending with the pipe rack. At least that's what the guy led me to believe. Gary, you go to the pipe rack in the morning. It's a nice place. It's a nice place for sure. A lot bigger than I thought. You got to be careful when you go there because there's the main store, which doesn't have any pipe stuff in it. Then they have another location like across the lot. That's where all the pipe stuff is. Soured Nightcap is beautiful indeed. $65 in the chat and only 39. But you know, some people just don't want to jump in and determine my fate. I have had brown Clooney. It's great stuff, mushroom leg. It's been a while since I've had the Old Gallery though, and I remember liking it though. Some folks are saying that it was bland. I remember liking it, but again, I'm not much of a Virginia smoker, so maybe that's just me. We're going to put some Old Gallery in this Phil Rivera little apple, appley thingy as I call it. What is that, Phil? I do this every time I smoke this pipe. So Old Gallery looks like that. Hopefully you can see that. It's brown tobacco. Kind of feels like a broken flake, but a very broken flake. It's like a flake that's been rubbed out. And we'll go ahead and get that loaded up. And I'm going to do no additional rubbing because I'm very much a stuff and puff kind of guy. And for those of you that may be tuning in for the first time, I don't think there's too many of that. The way we do this is we smoke it now, smoke it a couple times I try to smoke it pretty much every day between now and the end of the month, and somewhere towards the end of the month in one of my Sunday chats, I'll give impressions of it. It's got a very nice deep tin note, very dark sweetness. A little bit of vinegary, ketchupy kind of thing going on there, which is probably the dark fire coming through, but very, very sweet. I think that's probably accurate, mushroom leg. I'm sorry, poem. I don't know if it's exactly true in terms of the Perique, but it definitely milder than Marlin Flake, and it's been a long time since I've had Hell of the Wind, so I don't even know. You know, beef bolognese will do that to you, Cole. Seems like you got a scaling problem, Phil. Flint Hill, I have a coworker like that who just finished a 2 week vacation, and we were so sad that her vacation came to an end. Get in my belly. Yes, Cole. Yes. Of the foods that I tend to overindulge in, beef bolognese is definitely on the list. It's just one of those things that you finish eating it and you're like, I want more of that in my mouth. It's just, oh, you people love my lighter. Yes. I wish I could, I wish I could adjust the flame down just to screw with y'all. Um, Somebody asked about the new billiard. This is very early. Still got a lot of work to do on this, but that's where we're at so far. Shank is way too fat, but got work to do. And I showed you the other one finished. I haven't done anything with it, just sitting back there. Got far too many pipes going right now in terms of breaking in and such. Patrick's moved on to some Sutliff spiced rum and a Savinelli 673 Oceano. Nice. Snake went to his doctor, says Paragon Piper. He looked pale and had shrunk, and the doctor said, looks like you've got a scaling problem. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey, we haven't done stupid joke night yet. Is that what we call it? Stupid joke night? I think so. Um, we should do that in September because things are a little dicey in September, as I told you. By the way, my brother's status quo right now, um, so I don't want to schedule anything important, but stupid joke night isn't important, is it? Because October is going to be full of stuff. I'm going to try to get JD Wolf on for a chat. We're going to try to do It's the Great Pumpkin. And so that's going to, take up a bunch of time. And then in November, I don't know. I don't want to do a stupid joke night once we get past October, because then we're into the holidays. Dog's really barking tonight. Piper Okie, how was Ocean City, buddy? Did you have a good time? We're probably not going to do a show on the 26th, because that's my anniversary, and my wife will probably kill me if I do that. How about the 19th? Should we say we'll do stupid joke night on the 19th? Or do you just want to say that every night here is stupid joke night and leave it at that? There are no spirits, Gordy. And there are also no ventriloquist dummies. Piper Okie, I know it. This is my favorite time to go to the beach. Even some days, even into some years, even into October, if the weather holds out. It's just so nice. Because I'm not really a guy that goes in the ocean or anything. I'm just happy to sit on the beach. And, after lifeguards are going and stuff, you can actually sit on the beach and smoke a pipe. We planned it that way, John. I said, how am I going to remember our anniversary? And my wife said, we'll get married on John Brett's birthday. So, an early happy birthday to you, John. Good points, Phil. The opposite of ventriloquist dummy should be ventriloquist genius, yes. And Patrick's birthday is the 28th. I remember that from last time, Patrick, yeah. A lot of people having birthdays around my anniversary. How about that? I was watching something the other day, and they pointed out that the opposite of waterfall is firefly. Just going with the ventriloquist genius thing that Phil mentioned. I should have saved that for a title card quote. Oh, goodness. Cole had to take his vehicle to the shop. The mechanic said everything looked great except that his muffler looked exhausted. Bump. Oh my goodness. Phil was born on the day we fake landed on the moon. And Piper Okie is also the 28th. Wow. Oh, Ray, that's not nice. Raz on Wheels, how you doing, buddy? So I don't really find this bland. I definitely don't find it complex. It's pretty much the same from start to finish, if I'm remembering it. But I do wonder if Doug was mentioning last time about the inclusion of the dark fired, and it's been a long time, but I don't. I do think this is different from what I had before, but it has been a long time. But I wouldn't call it bland. Nice, Ron. WTC Golden Banded with Bulldog with Rattray's Black Mallory from 2003. Dry Fly Fisher 11. Didn't think the grass could water itself, but it do. Oh my goodness. Ah, yes. Thank you, Bad Dad. I forgot I think I explained on Sunday, but I guess I should tell you guys because we talked about it and there were several suggestions. It turned out it was dirty gas. So my plan was to have it towed over because I thought it was either the fuel filter or the fuel pump, and I wasn't going to deal with it. So I was going to have it towed over to the mechanic. Uh, Made an appointment with them, and the AAA guy showed up to tow it, and he said, "You want me to try to start it?" And he's the AAA guy, so he can run the battery dry trying to start it because he can always jump it. I didn't want to do that, so he cranked it and got it started, and big cloud of smoke came out of the tailpipe, and he said, "Yeah, it looks like dirty gas." And turns out I did fill up at a place that I didn't normally fill up at a day or two before, maybe. I don't know, but he said put some octane booster in it. I did, and it's been running just fine since. Started right up after that, and hasn't been a problem since. Is there a date sticker on the tin? No, there's no sticker on the tin at all, and there's nothing on here to indicate a date. Made in Germany, which does tell us something. 5.5% domestic and 99.5% foreign grown tobaccos. Dark Virginia, Kentucky, and a hint of Perique. Could use a lot more Perique, but nothing here to date it. No, I did check for the banana in the tailpipe before AAA showed up, Piperoki, so that wasn't the problem. Oh boy, Solani Burley Flake from 5 years ago. That sounds nice, Russ. Matthew Geis asking if I heard about the new movie Constipation. No. I hope that's a joke, Matthew. There's no sticker at all, Pum. I looked at the plastic cap too. There's no sticker. Oh, it was hard to watch him very slow moving, says Gordy. Okay. Not going anywhere, says Savagely. Very funny. Yeah, Doug, you mentioned that, and I still have to go through my cellar and check the tins of Old Gowrie that I have. Some of them are old, but I don't know if they're that old. Yeah, Cole, that's probably not a good idea for not the best tamper idea. It hasn't come out yet, Matthew. Okay, yes. Hard to get out of the theater. Oh my goodness. Might have been condensation creator, but actually this is a relatively new gas station. It's only been there. It's Royal Farms, and it's only been open about 2 years. Although there was a no, there wasn't a gas station there before. It was a grocery store before. So there are new tanks. Could not work out the plot, says Poem. Yes, yes. Oh, we've hit rock bottom with this one. Maybe we shouldn't have stupid joke night because if this is a prelude. So anyway, I'll try to mention this multiple times between now and then, but we'll do stupid joke night on whatever week that was, the weekend before the 26th. So it's not next Friday, but the Friday after. Between now and then, if you got stupid jokes, send them to me. I'll compile them all. I'll read them. I'll try to get some of my own, and you guys, of course, can share them in the chat. It's fun. We try to do it once a year. Could hardly get up from your seat, Bad Dad. Yes, and directed by Castor Oil. Okay, Paragon. Yeah, Doug, I've got to check on the tins I have. I mean, some of them are at least 15 years old, and they might be older than that. So it's a chance, but I don't think I've got any that are over 20 years old. Is that about a couple that goes to a dance, Poem? And the woman, the guy asked the woman if she would like to dance, and she said, "Would?" She says, "Wouldn't I?" Yeah. Been a long time coming, says David G. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, Phil, I'm actually asking us to go down a little bit lower than usual. Which will still be somewhat above my normal level. So, boy, Thatcher's really in a mood tonight. Oh, dry fly fisher. No, 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 no. Uh, well, I know my wife's not watching because if she was, she would be hearing Thatcher barking and be doing something about it. The bumpus hounds. Yes. Where'd the time go indeed, Patrick? It flies. It does fly. Yes, Phil, that self-defecation is important. Okay, Doug. So they've actually got the cutter. No, David, the 90, so the joke with the title card was that I was thinking a momentary lapse of reason, if since it was momentary, it would take approximately 1 minute. And since these things are typically 90 minutes long, then there would be approximately 90 momentary lapses of reason. It wasn't about the viewers at all. Yes, I did feed the dogs, Lisa. I did. I don't know why Thatcher won't be quiet. She probably misses me. I'll be up soon. No, I did feed them, but I didn't watch them eat, so it's possible that Isabel ate all the food. I was actually thinking of Pink Floyd when I wrote that, Flannel. I watched a video, was it last night? Was that the last night or this morning? About the division bell and the supposed hidden message in the division bell and this was it Enigma Populus character and all that. I don't know if any of you have any idea what I'm talking about. I had never heard of it before, and I'll probably forget it in another couple hours, but it was an interesting little thing, and that had me thinking about later Pink Floyd, and momentary lapse of reason came to mind, and then I had to make the title card. What is a monster's favorite dessert? Ice cream. Okay, Jeffrey. Okay. You guys should save these. We got 2 weeks to put these together, and you know. Bona Piper, how's it going, Christian? I hope you guys had a fantastic evening tonight. You heard of that puzzle, Ray? Yeah, it's interesting. David G's going with some 2014 OGS in a London Calling 1041. I'm with you on that mushroom leg in terms of waters, but I saw him. We went to this Desert Trip concert. I don't know when it was, back in 2019, I guess. No, 20 2015, 2016, and he was one of the acts. And he was the guy I was most looking forward to seeing because I've always loved Roger Waters. I'm actually one of the few people that liked his solo work more than I like Pink Floyd, and I was really looking forward to that show. And he came out and he was so over the top political that it was disgusting, And it doesn't matter which side you're on. Uh, it just that's not what I paid for. I didn't go there to hear him spout off about politics. And he had like these images projected behind him while he was singing. They were flat out pornographic, um, to make fun of politicians. And we left. We just got up and left. So I kind of have soured to him ever since. Couch, how you doing? Keep Pat. Oh no, Couch. Absolutely, absolutely. We're praying for Pat. And yes, please keep us posted and keep me posted, dear Couch. Definitely keep Pat in my prayers. Ray, you didn't like Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking? I thought that was actually a really good album. Um, I like that more than pretty much any Pink Floyd album. I really like the Final Cut, which is basically Roger Waters solo. I mean, he took that one over. So I don't know. I think his solo stuff was okay, but yeah, Radio Chaos. I almost went. So Radio Chaos was the tour that I was going to go to, and I had the tickets and everything. And my best friend asked me if I could take his sister to the prom, and it was the same night, and I did. Uh, and believe me, it wasn't something I wanted to do. But I mean, when your best friend asks if you can take his sister to the prom, she's probably not someone that can easily get a prom date. Uh, so yeah, it was that kind of night. Yeah, I know the Springsteen thing as well, and I never was a huge fan of Springsteen, but I I heard him doing some of the political stuff. It just turned me off. Absolutely, Couch. Please do, and let me know if you want to talk, buddy. Take care. I can tell you there was so this desert trip thing was like a week long. Um, we staying in this resort hotel in Palm Springs, and there were everybody that was at the concert was staying there, so it wasn't like people came and went. It was a destination thing. Uh, it was let's see, Roger Waters, Neil Young, The Who, Bob Dylan, Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones. I'm forgetting one more person. So it was a pretty big deal lineup, and these were not cheap tickets, and everybody was there for the duration, and there was big dinners that we all had together and stuff, and you got to meet people and all that. And I was not politically aligned with 95% of the people there, probably. Uh, as you might imagine, because I'm leaning to the conservative side of things, and these are people that are going to see the Rolling Stones, so they're a bunch of old hippies. Uh, People were streaming out of the Roger Waters concert, annoyed and ticked off at it. So it's not like he was only offending the people that did not agree with him politically. He was offending everybody. And that to me it tells you something. That's not why you have fans. Nobody cares what you think about that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's funny. Of that lineup, the show that I was most looking forward to was Roger Waters, and I walked out after about 20 minutes. The show that I just didn't care about was Neil Young. I just wasn't thinking that was going to be very good, and I really enjoyed Neil Young. He did a fantastic job. Um, Great show. So, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Up to the axles in mud. My goodness. Got flooded again, David. So this is something that happens regularly. They have such a tent, Flint Hill? That's interesting. I've seen Peter Gabriel a couple times, Bona Piper, and yeah, he puts on a fantastic show. Um, do you remember which tour it was that you saw? I saw him once in the late 80s, and it was like, I think he called it Playtime 88. I think that's what the tour was called. And then the next time was when it was the Sledgehammer tour. It was that album. I can't remember what that album was called, but I've seen Dylan a few times, and I was incredibly disappointed by him at the Desert Trip concert because he just lights came on. He was sitting at a piano. He sat there the whole time, sang, and never got up and never interacted with the crowd. Nothing. And that, by the way, was the night after. But that morning, it was announced that he won the Nobel Peace Prize, or the Nobel. I'm sorry, the Nobel Prize in Literature, I guess it was, or poetry, or I don't know. He won the Nobel Prize, and not a word, not a word, not a hello, good to be here, nothing. Just played a set, lights went down, he was gone. Okay, so was probably the second one that I saw. I would have loved to have seen Elvis Costello. Digging in the Dirt was later. Yeah, that wasn't. I didn't. I saw recordings of that one. All right, sweetie. I'm glad that Thatcher quieted down now that she knows she's being watched by so many. Yeah, Peter Gabriel is another example of what we were talking about earlier, where last time I saw him live, he looked like he was maybe 40 years old and full head of hair and thin guy and all that. And now he's like this little bald, fat grandfather looking guy. And you're like, what the hell happened to him? Uh, hey, Piper on the 45, thanks for joining us. So Growing Up, filmed in Milan 2003, is worth watching. Okay, Christian, thanks. I wouldn't have mind seeing Neil Diamond. Yeah, he was quite a performer. Robert Palmer. Wow. I don't know, creator. I've seen Dylan before, and he was I can't say he was interactive, but he at least said like he introduced the band and he stood, you know. So I wasn't expecting him to be Mr. Entertainment, but at the same time, I was expecting a little bit more than what could have just been somebody playing a recording. There's zero reason for him to be there other than he was singing and playing the piano. He didn't play the guitar. Carrie, you missed almost nothing. We're just talking. We're still talking about how people got old. Um, the other person, I thought of this as I was talking about Peter Gabriel. Um, Mark Knopfler. I don't know if any of you have seen Mark Knopfler lately. There's a video of him on YouTube. He's doing this acoustic one-man show. I have no idea what it's called or anything, but he's just sitting up on a stage with his guitar and talking about like the songs and telling the story behind the songs and stuff, and then he'll play a little bit of the song, and very very interactive and all that. And he's this old bald guy, and it's like, how could that possibly be Mark Knopfler? And then he starts playing Money for Nothing, and you're like, huh, that shouldn't be coming out of him. I don't think you could pay me enough to see Barbara Streisand, Phil. Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs. I'm blanking on that. That sounds really familiar. Oh, I know what you mean, Phil. Yeah, sorry. Not firing all cylinders right now. That's the crazy thing. How is Keith Richards still going? And you know, that was the shocking thing. So I've seen Keith Richards, not live, but I've seen him in interviews and stuff, and you could barely understand what he was saying. He looked like he's, decrepit, dried up. You know, he came out and did a solo set during this Rolling Stones concert at that Desert Trip. He had a new blues album that he was putting out. He was easy to understand, conversational. Uh, it was like they replaced him with somebody else. And apparently he had gotten on some kind of a health kick, and yeah, whatever he was doing really was working for him. But yeah, how can we live in a world where Ozzy Osbourne is dead and Keith Richards is still alive? What kind of world would we live in, Mick and Willie? That's funny, David. That is funny. Yeah, but Christian, I think the drugs and alcohol might have been what's preserved him all these years. He might just be pickled. I remember a comedian talking about Keith Richards was doing a public service announcement to tell kids to not use drugs, and the comedian said, "We can't do drugs, Keith. You've done them all." Kind of funny too. Imagine one person had done them all. There's none left. That'd be a lot of drugs. Yeah. I'm gonna get flagged for that, I'm sure. Oh, Carrie, that's both touching and kind of comical. I just don't think many people would have thought that Crazy Train could evoke that emotion, but I understand. You're right, Bonapiper. He was like 80% liver, ingested formaldehyde. Might be. Oh, are you serious, Paragon? My goodness, that's a terrible thing. Uh, it's spelled differently from what you spelled, Phil, but I know what you meant. Formaldehye, something like that. I was never very good at spelling bees. I have to actually see the word being written in order to spell it. I can't just, I have a lot of trouble just pronouncing the spelling. I don't know why. Thank you, Christian. There's the proper spelling. Oh, Phil, that's unfortunate. But hey, at least it was inadvertent. I don't think I was that far off. 613. Who's got 6? Who's got 13, Gary? All right. I like that, Gary. Losers have 6, wieners have 13. It's funny, Flint. I can do math in my head with no problem. In fact, it sometimes is a little difficult for me to explain it because the numbers just kind of work. It's very different than letters. I don't know why that's the case, but I'm intrigued by this because I did study psychology as an undergraduate, and I've always been interested in some of these odd things like aphasia, where people can't see the words and things like that. It's just curious how different people process things differently. Um, but there's definitely a different stream for numbers and letters. More than a bit, Carrie. More than a bit. Yeah. All right, Cole. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend and good luck to the kids tomorrow. That'll shut them up, Phil. That's a strategy, David. That's definitely a strategy. Yeah, I write notes sometimes and I look at them like an hour later. I have no idea what I've written. I'm a terrible penmanship. Yes, Bonapiper, I am forgetting words. I often will be in the middle of a sentence and think I don't know what that next word's supposed to be. I know there's a word that means that thing and I cannot come up with it, and that drives me crazy. Shane McGowan of the Pogues up. Detroit Matt took it away. But yes, he did live. Not anymore. You might be right about that poem. You can communicate without spelling, yeah. all you can do is enjoy life, Christian. You know, it's just part of the natural cycle. All right, Mushroom Leg, you take care. And yeah, we gotta call this to a. Oh, we're running way over here, guys. Having far too much fun. But we are coming to the end, so I'm gonna call this to a close. It was great spending this time with you. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's always a highlight of my week, and tonight did not disappoint at all. So y'all take care of yourselves. We will be back on Sunday with the thing we do on Sunday. And we'll very likely be back next Friday with another one of these guys. Again, my schedule might be a little dicey just because of my brother, but we'll see how things develop, and I'll let you know. There'll be a post if we're gonna have to cancel. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, I hope you all take care. Have a fantastic weekend, and be good to one another. Good night, all.